ever since I've been a small child, I've been fascinated by and loved being on, in, or near the ocean. My name is Katherine Richardson, and I'm a professor in biological oceanography at the University of Copenhagen. Biological oceanography is interesting because I look at the ocean as an organism itself, and the fact that it's a very important part of the whole planet as we know it. You have oxygen coming out of the ocean, you have CO2 going into the oceans. So in some ways you can say that the ocean actually acts like the lungs of the earth. My great-great-grandfathers and my great-great-grandfathers were ship captains on the east coast of North America, and I've always kind of speculated whether or not my career choice was in my blood in a way. I definitely want to sample up here, but I really think this looks like an interesting area. The pH meter is critical because it gives me the possibility on every station to readily measure how much CO2 is actually dissolved in the water. And obviously, if you're working in the ocean, understanding the chemical reactions in water is critical. So we wouldn't be able to operate without knowing the pH. It's a bit of a problem, really, that being a climate researcher requires that you travel as much as you do, because, of course, flying is one of the worst things you can do in terms of your own greenhouse gas budget. I love meeting new people. I love seeing new things.
By now, I would like to give the floor to Katherine Richardson.
But in spite of the seriousness of the situation that we're in at the moment, I really feel that the tone, when you go to scientific meetings, the tone is changing and is much more almost optimistic than it was a few years ago. The planetary boundaries are more like blood pressure. If your blood pressure is over 120/80, it's no guarantee that something awful is going to happen, but it does raise the risk. So we try and bring it back. We are seeing much greater awareness and much greater ambition level when it comes to companies and when it comes to individual countries about what they're willing to do in terms of trying to fight climate change. One thing that's really important about moving towards a sustainable future is that people do get closer to nature, back to nature, and get a greater appreciation of how nature works and what nature does for us. Here, I've got tomatoes here. I'm going to have peppers and chilies down here. Gardening is one tool, I think, that we can use to give people the appreciation of nature that I think we have to have if we're going to become sustainable in our way of living.
When you're determined to brew the world's best beer, you discover a thing or two along the way. In 1909, Carlsberg invented the pH scale to improve beer quality and shared it with the world.